when you come beyond all lines of levels of signature pattern, a signature pattern is basically understanding your line condition, your system. It's a connection to lines of high interference. So getting in track communication is understanding how to balance everything in the mind lines. The mind shifts the anomaly. Okay, so the most understanding is the communications of why we have a chakra system in our line conditions. Okay, the coordination line interference is balance calculation setting, how we set the tone communications to space and time, and how we use it through our line conditions of division location of balance. Okay, the whole process here is understanding how to use the chakra settings. Once you understand how to use your body, your mind shifts with the heart and the soul together. 3, 6, and 9. That's geometry line, setting line interference, trial communication, tetralocation, tetrahedron. Setting calculation line interference at 333. Heart, mind, and soul go together. Go together. Okay? So in that position, location, directions, you're following where you want to go in set line condition system. You're seeing future depthability in set locations to your settings and calculation, but you're in the center operation of your set locations right here, right now. Okay? So if you're right here, right now, you're seeing everything all at once. Multitask. Okay? You understand the alignments of the past reference, you understand the center lock communications, and you understand the future locations. See the future locations of your visions. So that's the important. You understand why you have to stay in the center communications, future locations. Okay? It center aligns your settings to really understand how to use your inner child communication. The mind itself is all calculated and modified. To understand that through provision is to really understand how to set the connections to your settings. Because the whole idea is for you to understand your future of your set location. Okay? Put yourself in the center. Okay? So basically, it's kind of like an experiment. When you're basically seeing things right away, it's on seconds on channel, operation line conditions, but there's a block surface. A block surface is a line connect. It's a line strip. And that line strip has position locations in the box centers. Those two line signature line streams. Okay? One position location directions, past, one position of center, and one in the set location positions. Past, present, and future is setting in position right away. All right? That's why you need the past. That's why you need the present, and that's why you need the future. But your future adaptation line setting, the connections to its system has to understand the core. Okay? Or it's a discord, or it's a recalculation setting, or it's a disattachment location system, or it's a line calculation to a separation set location. Okay? So it's important to understand the tethers of communications. Okay? So in that position locations, if you are in the center line calculation line interference, past and the future comes into one. Now, in that line calculating line interference, it's not in position location in the 7 line signals. It's not 7 track or 7 balance calculation clock lines, because now you're in a coordination in set location settings of blocking of 0 to 9 to 12 line setting. But you have to understand the unification lines of its ascension and how it uses all calculations to your system. Okay? So it's important you understand it's the line setting your center. Center, center, center. Doesn't matter where I go, I'm always center because my mind is going with calculation. Whatever the mind is doing, the body follows. Okay? So the only confusion part is if the mind doesn't understand the shift, you're shifting dimension, you're shifting space, you're shifting time every time you speak. And when you're speaking on seconds lines of hours and communication streamline, you're setting position locations to your system. Okay? So that is the importance location system. Stay in the center line at all timelines all at once. The central calculation setting, and every time you voice your grid line rotations and position locations, once you understand the center operation of you see all timelines mixed in one line conditions into one block location, which is your realm setting. Your theta communication setting is all levels of operation. How to use that through the receptor is one calculation to the system because you're using the foundation graph lines of 12 set location settings that is in the process of calculations to your day-to-day. Now, this puts you in positions to your motion line system. This puts you in a track line communication setting. So in that line center line interference, as long as you stay in 2 panels of operation center, not here, not here, not up here, not down here, not this way, not that way, stay in the center of your thoughts, putting the past line and the future and present in one. That process is its communication of balance. Okay. So when you see things, it's already been said, and you're thinking, wait a minute, I don't have to think anymore because I know exactly what I just finished saying. So if I just finished saying, it's not in its equation yet, but it is coming its way. So when you get in position of your visions and you start seeing the future, it's because you're no more line setting interference of past line. You're in the center calculations. You're letting yourself flow in recognition and calculation, of course, recognition of time and space. And space and time comes calculation system. So are you going this way or are you going this way? You're going this way or are you going this way? All right? So you decide of what you want to do with your correlation setting and bounce positions. The track lines in the communication line center splits its position. Okay? The center calculation setting has to be in one location. Okay? See, it's trying to find its balance. Trying to find its balance, right? Can't find its balance because it's crossing line streams, right? But once it finds its balance, it comes together and it goes in one position. So you have to really understand how to use it through your timelines. Your timeline is the now. Everybody's in line setting all now. But the conception location of the line setting is not understanding the difference because it doesn't understand the future calculation setting to its center operation of the sub-location system of the psychosis location of the psychological connections that stands on point of view. The point of view, you. Okay, you are the center. Okay, because if you're not the center, the thoughts are the center, and that's not good. Because if the thoughts are the center, the thoughts can take over line setting. So truly understand that your position, location, and track line is connected to your intelligence. That opens all calculation, modification, and circulation in your position, location, and track lines and your circulatory line connections to its rotation. Okay? It's very complicated in what I'm saying now. Okay? Because it's all psychological reset. That's all this is. Nothing else, nothing more. Okay? So you determine how you want to set your setting in that location system through your heart, through your calculations, through your mind, through your soul, and through activation. The heart, the mind, and the soul have to go together as one. Okay? Because if they don't go together as one in set location setting, your thoughts are already taking control of your set locations. Battery line connection system. The battery and its rotation surface doesn't understand the calculation modifications anymore. The rotation surface is all calculated, modified, all calculated line interference, and direct line settings to past rep locations. So everything in set location system cancel, delete, erase right away in set location. It disappears in set locations. In that direct line settings, this is connections to your placebo. Okay. Today in line center in class, line communications, we come to Mother Earth, where she is basically in a router line connecting setting in set location system. So tracking line communication to the throat is understanding how it's balanced in set location setting in the ground of operation in position locations. And remember, it's all levels of operation to calculation and observation. Observation gives you a connections to its practical set location system. Okay, so it's about restructuring your set lines of communication, your systems, understanding how to use all position, location, track lines. Okay, now it's very complicated what I'm saying because it's all psychological. All right, now the psychological is set in position. When you understand what's the first thing that comes to mind when you say theta? Imagination. Okay, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear beta? Radio signal. Right? So we all have to understand how to connect, okay, to our line signature line settings. It's okay to modify how we see ourselves through body capacitor, our capacitors, okay, our balance in set locations. This is how we process our line settings in all communications to our central system, okay, through its GOD, the geometric operation of its design, direction, location of its dimension of space and time through pi. Okay, so we got a lot of formula equation line settings and sublocations coming up. All right. There's Gingy, Tina, Gypsy, calculation streamlines, all levels, Laurie, oh girl, Geneva. Okay, line signatures, Prismore, calculation streamlines, set direction system. High center calculation line setting is directions to a system. Okay, that's a weed whacker right there. So I've got a balance line, streamline location. So we'll just hear a muffle. All right, triangle lines and high interference, attract communication setting, all calculate positions. All right, so information panels. We're going to rotate surface. Setting calculation line interference, attract communications into pyramid settings. Okay, and set location system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 set locations, all right? There's your pyramid lines. Okay, inline interference, setting calculation lines. All calculation modify and set location system will open. Frequency. Channel lines and streamlines and cross signal. Channel line interference into factor. Okay, factor over pi. That calculation of settings. Indirect signals. Okay, in high set locations. Okay. Now, direct line signal line conditions, streams lines, and set lines, and zero line rotation interference, setting direct location signals. Now comes the line interference lines, line interference and track communication system, the four lines of UFO line rotation surface. Track lines, scan lines, track lines, scan lines, track lines, scan lines, track lines, scan lines, and set location system. All right, now equation. Rotation surface location line settings, 144. Track line, zero line conditions, all levels. Setting the line communications into 6 over pi line centers of power and timeline sequence. Puts line condition Mother Earth, equal line condition system, track line communication settings, outline interference, information locations, and track communications. All right. Forming this equation line in line rotation sets communication to ground lines, operation of surface. So you got 4 lines of panel lines of orbs and channel communication settings, directing signals. Now in this signal line interference sets line position location of all levels. Opens on lines of sun line rotation surface and center communications. Now the direct lines and line inter rotations, it's a moon line. It sets location high interference in position locations to its dimensional sail. It's set location setting. Directing lines, center line interference. Moon lines set location high interference of 6 lines and 3 set location system. Fibonacci lines and opposite circle and set location system and directions. Now directing line signal line interference sets line conditions of high interference of 6 in position location into 7 and set location setting. Putting lines track line calculation settings into 2 lines of perimeters and parameters. Calculates line interference, calculates line rotation in line communications to higher levels of higher position track lines in the sun or rotation surface. Diamond equation. All right. Okay, setting the routers or water containment line stream. Directing line setting line interference is understanding how to establish a one line signature line communications, right? So that's got a line centers of 0 in position of all levels. Breaker, fuse box, 2 line tracks, 0. Breaker, fuse box, 2 line tracks, 0. Breaker, fuse box, track, 2 line, 0. Breaker, fuse box, 0. Gravity line setting. Breaker, fuse box, line center, line 0, line rotation interference, and track locations. Now, directing line setting is understanding your 63 line rotations in percentage over pi. Formulates calculation and perception, calculates A line, direct line setting to ground operation. Okay? Now, all levels of track communication settings comes into a box circuit and set location setting direction. See how my voice is changing? It's in a circuitry line settings switch. So calculate and modify, I got to put it back in track line because I'm speaking in a high calculation different tone setters. Calculation lines of arrow lines in the opposite location system and track communication settings, wave and cycles, line connection system to a set line interference and track communications. Okay? Directing signals of wire lines, disposition location track lines. Wire connectors, lines of 1 in position of 2 in position of 3 set location settings. Water containment lines, a circle line rotation surface and set location in position locations are measured. Quarry line interference and travel communication setting, earth line rotation. Okay? So tracking settings is all levels of travel calculation string lines, setting position of center lines and 12 line rotation signatures and set line condition system and height calculation. All right? Setting direct line signals, line interference, line condition system comes into all levels of infinity line. Wall circuits, patterns, and set lines of 3 waving lines and location alpha line communication settings, directing signals. Directing signals and line communicating. Again, 2 line track lines and wall lines and connectors. Setting track communication settings and direct signals and set location system. Water containment through throat line. Now the rotation server location operates the location, position, location of panels. Operation lines of 0, position location of 6, position of 3, center calculation line interference of 333, center calculation line interference of 369, plasma line interference, line track communication system, open all track line operation service, location system, 2 panels line interference, 4 track communication settings, and line conditionized system, diameter line rotations into dilation, calculation modification to its settings. Done my equation. See what I've done? So, see, my throat. So it interlines its calculation line setting. It's all calculated and modified when I set location to its tone. It measures in its position, location, and track lines. So we take the 3 line wires, fractional time lines, and 4 set location system. So 4 lines on 1 line and position of 3 set location setting. 7 and 9 line calculation setting in dilation set location setting, directing signals and location system and travel connections. Travel line center line is sun. Sun comes in, calculations to its all position location was measured. Line calculation, line interference of the moon line rotation, surface locations, and high track communication setting, direct signal. Setting direct signals of 0 line gravity, setting calculation interference location 144, calculation of the platforms, calculation line stream interference, walking steps and set location setting, indirect signal and set locations. Done by equation. All right. Okay. Metal interface line setting, a rotation surface and set location system. It opens all channel line and interference location or voice lines. That's where it comes into all calculations, your capillars. These are your capillars, line line rotation, position, track line, and connection immune system. Okay, they modify how you set location and settings. Those are capillars. Okay. So you really have to understand how this all sets line connects to its system, to its tone line. So we got an alpha line setting, a rotation of voice line, communication, right? Channel line and line rotation interference. And that's the dimensional line, locks its signals, lock line conditions to its vector, cross line conditions of pi, its set location setting. Directing signals and set location system. Now the capillary line interference sets a line, graph line, 0 line rotation surface and set location setting. Setting direct signal, electrical lines, electrical panels, electrical interference, electrical programs, electrical connectivity system, program location setting, direct signals. So the direct signal line interference sets the location, high interference location alpha lines. You got an alpha line, equal lines of 0, operation of 0, 0. 3 line centers of 3 set locations setting and position of the track line. Double equation. So the capillars are set up line in a liquid line interference and set location setting, and 0 locations of 3 set location setting. Directing signals and set locations of balance. Double equation. All right. Setting correlation line stream is direct line signals and how we set positions to a setting location system. Mother Earth tracks line communication as soils. Calculation line interference and set location setting, direct signals. So put plasma line string lines, program location setting, direct signal line condition system, in calculation streamline and set locations. Now, directing line center line interference sets 144 of a platform. Remember, the 144 is calculated and modify how the avatar has the track communication setting and how it calculates streamlines. Directing line center line interference come into signature patterns and elixirs and calculate the cosmic plane, serpent fire and set location setting, and direct signal to a set location system. Now, directing line signature patterns sets line condition line interference. 0 lines, 0 operations, 0 surface, and 0 locations. 4 lines is 0 line rotations. In a correlation line, positions a panel of operation string location. Now, directing signals and set location line center sets voice box channels. The voice box channel sets line connection and graph lines. Rotation surface line conditions of pi. Position location outlining conditions of pi. Directing signal line conditions all positions of pi. Calculation line and electrical line communications of pi. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 in set location setting. 4 lines and 4 calculation setting. Circle lines of 4, circle lines of 4. Bring the center calculation setting triangulation into a double helix rotation surface and set location system and set line conditions. All right, done by equation. All right, it's very powerful to see set locations there, setting position locations. So 63 valve lines is calculated and modified through the non-location of channel lines. Plasma line, center line interference sets communication position location track lines. Opens all signal line conditioning platforms, processing locations and position track line communications. Center calculates line interference sets position of platform communication settings to track lines of 3 set locations. Done by equation. All right. All right, center calculations of center communications of nuance signals. Directing signals and set lines of communication setting redirects locations to your system. Understanding how to use a voice box channel calculation line setting line interference is application of 0-1 line setting. 0 travel line is a 2, 0 travel lines of 3 is application setting. Directing signal lines of 3 line setting, directing signal lines of 3 line setting, bringing 3 lines and 3 lines in Fibonacci rotation surface into application system, and track communication setting, sun of operation, and moon and calculation streamline applications. Done by equation. All right. So we take the 0 line, the 2, and the 3 set location setting. 3 lines equal lines of 0. 0 line equals 1, 2, and 3 set location system. Directing line center line is a pyramid. Cross signal line conditions of team line. Get them position locations behind interference. Foundation graph lines, how pyramids are connected to string lines as location system, and how all travel calculation setting and direct signals as locations. All right. So the actual pyramid is line condition Merkaba. It's center calculation line interference. So it's a cross line string line into a box line rotation surface. It's a mega line channel operation to set location or tesseract communication setting. There's signal location to its archive to its acoustic records, and planted through line rotation to a Rubik's cube. Line conditions to a electronic line interference, a true communication setting, a direct location system. That's direct location settings, and calculation line and position locations into your tesseract communication of operation. Done by equation. It's all set up. So your center calculation line interference is showing you foundation graph line. Intelligence is going to show you how it's all calculated and modified, how you set communication settings and position locations to its position of unification. Unification opens all line setting line interference. Setting calculation line stream and interference. Set location line condition line system. E lines, calculation of E, line condition of G, line interference, and position of T. Calculates line and position locations. Energy lines, calculation line interference. Quadrant line, center location of travel, and set location directions. Center lines, flux capacitor, channel lines, operation surface, channel lines is surface line connection setting, 63 lines is center line communication system, line connecting high interference, 114, track lines and balance line interference is set location setting, Merkaba position track lines, tesseract, tetrahedron, octahedron, calculation streamline, is set lines of merge line and correlation setting, indirect signals, and travel communication setting, ground line operation surface, and operation line connections to its application system. Done by equation. All right. So, Zira. So, rebalancing line settings locations. Mother Earth is coming in to track communications to its routers and routers. So, this is where we come into seed pod interference. See my throat? It's calculated and it's set lines and high lines in position location to its position. All right, so the center line interference has 2 panels operation line connections, right? That sets lines of a high calculation line, center line interference, a Fibonacci line squirrel, calculation line interference. We operate line rotations. This is the calculations to its escalates, calculations to the calculation string line and set location system. Now the center line in position locations comes in one set location setting. That directs line center and travel communication at 3 set locations, right? Travels lines in 3 set location setting and direct signals in a 4-panel operation to your pyramid operation stream location set line. Calculation line interference sets line communication around a set location setting, directing signals in a rainbow graph line string in a throw pattern communication setting, direct signals in set location setting, and direct signals at graph line streams into 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 line conditions of 3 in set location setting, phenomenal location. Done by equation. All right. So the center lines of 6 is over pi of 3 now. The center calculation setting is all calculated, not modified. So the dimensional line set location set out position location is sun and the moon. So moon line, set line, cross line, moon line, set lines, operation surface. Okay. Travels line interference of travel communication of 12 line dimensional location settings, right? 24 line setting line interference of calculation streamline. Setting calculation line interference sets moon line operation surface into its black hole, a set location setting, and direct signal at set locations. Directing line settings operation surface locations neutralizes calculation streamline at 144. Track lines calculation lines at 2 panels operation locations in its vessel of communication. Travels lines and high line interference set lines communications. Brings back in its sun line rotors, lines and line interference of 2 panels operation streamlines of Mother Earth. Correlations of balance at set location setting, direct signal. Done by equation. All right, the routers and routers line interference and Wi-Fi communication line stream sets location to a system. Now this sets line communication to moon line, operation surface, line connecting direction, and position locations to its setting. Okay, that's the moon. Operation line graphs and 2 line connection high setting, directing signals. So the moon crosses line streams of 6, correlates line interference of 6, and set lines of 6 in position and 6 position line connections. Correlations in line calculate setting in northwest, south, and east. Done by equation. All right. The center calculation line interference sets position location to the sun. Sun sets line calculation line interference, and rotation surface and set location setting, direct signals. So plasma line center and rotation surface and set location setting, directing signals in atom line rotations into 4 waving cycles and set location setting, direction system. Track lines, magnetic highway information line, circle lines, its communication system, position. Now they operate line setting, 1 line and 1 tether. So the 1 tether line interference sets 3 grounds at 3 set location line settings to Mother Earth in a new crop circle and set location setting, direct signal. Directing lines and line interference comes in position location of 2 panels and set line connection system of 2 half pipes and 1 panel of 1 position location, 1 pulsar. Calculation line setting, direct line signals and operation surface locations of the solar direct line setting, center calculation line rotation to surface locations, operation line connections, center position locations, and a magnetic highway from each channel, line connecting line interference of 2-wave central line communication setting, redirect signals and set locations. Done by equation. It's all done. All right. So, what just happened? It's morphin' time. Dinosaur. All right. So in that line setting, but it's very powerful, we come into line calculations and that interference. So mother track lines high interference, trimester lines is 6 line. It's calculated and modify how to reset location of throat line center interference. Tracking calculation line interference comes into tree formation line setting, ground lines, rotation, surface locations, right? Travel lines of center line rotation, surface location of an atom line, surface location setting. Directing line setting, okay, 42 line streams into flux capacitor and tube channels, your line in a rotation position. Tracking calculation line and galaxy line is a cloud line rotation interference and formation location light setting. Directing signals and set location setting. Branches and calculation lines, data stream, data line rotation interference, input and output line communications. Routers and routers, line section line connection high system, travel calculation line stream, setting position of track lines, operation line position location of planet surface, rotation galaxy lines, a 4-shift line communication setting, planet line rotation and interference of solar system location system, directing line interference, a high calculation line center, cloud line and recharge location system, membrane line center line interference, electrical line condition and graph line, stream position location, all like a positional line setting, how to calculate modify and ground line operation surface, and all position locations of Mother Earth position track communication setting. That way equation. It's all set up. All the tree formation line center line conditions of Mother Earth is all set up through ground lines at operation surface. It's all done. So, how does everybody feel? It's amazing when you come to line calculations anyway, right? Really understand all calculations in center interference, instruct communication setting, direct signal location to the system. So, all right, harmonics is strong, energy flowing, beautiful, yeah. Stretching heart, line setting, reaching more capacity of love, give and receive. Well, that's all it is. Molecular structures and mapping sequence. That's what Gypsy's coming into. You guys get your upgrade line, center line interference and cell location in your cloud lines. All calculate and modify all through position location in your light force line streams. Setting direct signals is extremely powerful when you come into Mother Earth rotation. Now, the central line calculation settings sets calculation lines and circle line interference set locations. Travels line, center line, and rotation position of track line. Calculation lines of circle lines, center communication positions of center position. Now, the center position crosses line stream. Now, the walk line surface location is set in position locations in 1 line set rotation system. Travel calculation lines, a 3-set line calculation setting. So the connection to the avatar sets in set position location, high calculation lines, the highest peak, and set line conditions, a high force line. See? Track line connections. All right. Now, line setting is to understand the connection line interference and position of ground lines of its dome, center calculation line stream, and set locations. Now, directing line, center line interference sets position locations, the operation surface location system. So you got 6 line and 3 set location setting. Travel lines and set lines is 0 line rotation. 0 lines equals 1, 1, 1. Set calculation line interference to 2 lines of 3 in position of 4. So that puts 114 line stream line interference in set location system, orb line, channel line, operation surface, and sun calculation line direction system locations. Directing line, center line interference of 6 line. We take the 6 and we take the 3. Center calculation string line. Center calculation of Merkaba. Downshift cross lines in set location directions. Directing line center. Separate the set location and position location to its console. Calculation modification line setting location of its capsule. Line condition of north, east, west, and south in set location directions. Set location setting. Done by equation. All right, so that's all set applications of row graph line streams, all through capsule location system. Pulsar interference is extremely powerful when you come to all calculations, right? But you have to understand how it modifies calculation to its Merkaba set location setting. Directing signals and set locations. So this is where it comes in line setting. Comes in this locations. All right? Set in this position location of track line. Directing line signals and set location system in all calculations. It's that position. Now, it's understanding calculation of 3 at lines of 3, in position of 3, in position of 3. Okay? So, you got calculation of the heart line, position of the mind, concepts, its communication system of soul line directions. 3 lines, center lines at high interference, 3 equals 6 equals location of 9. 9 line centers, lines of 9 line communication center positions. Opens all signal line interference of a 24 line ground line, operation server locations. Puts lines of 0, inline conditional equals of 9, in lines equals of 3, 3 centered lines of communications of pi, pi sets location of setting and set locations. Directing line center line interference comes in position to its atom line surface and set location system. Now, directing line center line interference, we set the zero gravity line rotation, the center communication system and direct locations, and the magnetic highway information line center line interference and set location setting. Directing line interference of earth line rotation surface set location system into tubes of activation string line, setting calculation line interference and set locations. Done by equation. See that? All calculated modified. All done through equation. Multipass. So we got the 0 line and 9 line in lines of 3 in position of 12. It's all set up. Mother Earth is now in balance line string line in position locations. Knowing exactly how she sets her line communications of balance in position lines to its voice line calculation string line. The center line setting is all direct locations to its system. Okay? So understanding how to set communications to your line signatures, positions of your Merkaba. Okay? All right. So center of operation is the center line calculation line setting. Okay? Understand the circle line rotation surface, your pyramid line rotations, calculation setting, and direct signals to its set locations. All right, channels, lines of film strip line positions, operational line connections to a surface. Okay, so line connecting, again, setting lines as string lines and set location of travel is 144 of plateau line communication in a 2 set location system. Directing line settings, so far in the future set locations of travel in recognition of time sequence of time sub pi. Directing signal lines in an open sequence location of the sun. The sun modifies the line-to-line rotation to its surface locations. Directing line setting sets all calculations to its dimensional sail and 6 communication setting in direct signal and set locations to a new operation of a ground line of a dimensional line rotation in surface locations. Oh, see how it disappeared? Oh, it was too fast. Setting communication to a setting. Okay? Done by equation. All right, seeing the play. Yeah, well, knowing exactly why you're seeing these things is the how line, center line interference. Earth rotators, routers, and routers. Calculation Wi-Fi and position location track line. Directing signals and set location system into all calculation line settings. Okay? All done my equation. So it's pretty unbelievable what we're coming into. And glowing over the planet, areas needed, higher vibration. Well, knowing exactly what you're seeing through line connections. You're going to hear me say that a lot now because your bounce lines or stream lines are setting position of track lines. So we got 2 box lines, center line interference, 1 tether communication, 2 box locations. 1 line setting, operation, 1 line ground line operation, right? Travel communication, crisscross location settings. Line connecting, set locations, right? Channel operation line, plasma strain line interference into cloud change line and rotation system. Now, the circuit pockets, line, center line, and positions. This is where it comes into all calculation interference and diffusers. Line interference is location of 2 atoms of 4 line settings. So 2 calculation line interference. So there's 2 atom line setting. Okay. 2 lines of atoms. Center calculation of 0 lines of operation surface and a Fibonacci line swirl set locations. Now the channel line sets line calculation setting and a new triangulation of a spot line. That sets lines of the separation line condition that opens up its gap center. Line center line interference triangulates its system location and position. So the atom line rotates its system, atmospheric locations, calculation lines of ozone line rotation and a biosurface. Calculates and modify high line interference to trap communication setting. Sets lines of communication in direct line setting in position location in the 12 set location setting in direct signal set locations. Done by equation. All right. So the center communication earth line rotation center of the sun communication line direction location is now an operation line setting of 0 equals 9, lines of 3 equals location of 12. It's all set up. Done by equation. It's all done. Oh, no. Woo! Lots going on, eh? It's like, wow, where's it all coming from? Where's it all coming from? Inside of you. So that's how it's all set at position. Okay? It's all set. It's all done. All right. Tomorrow we get line centers at 12. Center calculations, right? Center line interference at 12. Center calculations. Center line conditions at 12. Center calculations. So center line communication has to come into its marked line communication setting into its particle string lines and position of particle. Okay? So we get in lines of separation. Calculations of separation. Calculations of separation line condition. That's what's going to line communication into line center interference. So magnetic line channel line interference, 12 line setting line interference of 12, in position of 12, in position of 12, set location settings. So that's 12 lines of 1 in position of 2, in position of 3 set locations, the top line signals. We take the 3 lines as center line, 3 lines center line. We take the 1 line inner location system. 1 line's equal line condition of line in position of 2. 2 lines of position of positive line condition of 3. 3, 3, 3 set location setting direct signal. That's the equation. 3, 3, 3. Center calculation of 0 lines of 9 equals lines of 3 equals 12. 12 line center line interference of 1, 2, 3 line calculates the system. Position line connection system, 36 field lines of set line connection is now set at location Mother Earth. Indirect line setting and position location traction. That's my equation. All right, check that out, check that out, check that out. So, yes. The heart, mind, and soul is now set at line setting. Body track line communication is all levels of conscious line communication setting, position, location, alignment, rotation, position, location. 63 line settings of string location settings, directing signals of 0 to 9, the 3 line setting of 12 location system. Done by equation. Okay? Whoop, whoop. So that's it. It's all done. I know, knowing exactly what you guys are coming into. More connected to, yeah. Well, see, that's what it is, Trinity. That's what it is now in set locations. So we're going to set the barometers, thermometer, line in line rotation interference, thermometer calculation settings, heat signature pack calculation line interference, ground line operation string lines, location system, heat signature line calculation, digital line interference, and 7-digit code line frame communication settings into a new Merkabah set location system of a new particle stream set location setting into all calculations of G, O, D, and set line conditions. Multi-pass. Hoo-ah! All right, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Da 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 da. Feel like dancing, dancing. Da 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 da. All right, so we have a zoom line, center line interference, set line communication system, drink your waters, line connection system. See you guys in 5. Adios.